What if we are living in a simulation that was created in our ancient past? A simulation based on a code that was counterintuitive to the natural code of the universe. A code that keeps us trapped in a perpetual loop of life and death. Who built this system, and were there beings in our ancient past who discovered the secret to breaking out of this simulation? In her movie Code 12, investigative journalist Melissa Tittl has discovered a code that correlates with the number 12 and connects all these ancient stories, text, symbols, calculations, and alignments. Could someone or something have embedded a code within our oldest and most endearing stories in an attempt to help those with the eyes to see break free from our simulated reality? In this video, we investigate one more of these ancient code connections.
Ever since I was a little kid, I've been fascinated by tales of King Arthur and Camelot. Even as a girl, it filled my head with questions like, what was the Holy Grail? Why was the round table round? Was it to show that all the knights were equal? Or was there a hidden, more esoteric meaning? But is there even more to the story than first meets the eye? Something that not only connects the Grail to King Arthur, but also his 12 most trusted knights of the Round Table. One of the most famous English legends is that of King Arthur and his 12 Knights of the Round Table. Though mainly known for uniting England, King Arthur and his knights are probably most famous for their quest for the Holy Grail. Legend has it that the Holy Grail was the cup or the chalice used to catch the blood of Christ at the crucifixion. It was spirited away to Britain by Joseph of Arimathea, where it remained hidden for centuries. But what if the Holy Grail wasn't a grail at all? In the book, The Holy Blood and the Holy Grail, authors Michael Bajan and Richard Lay and Henry Lincoln postulate that the French word for Holy Grail might have an entirely different meaning. In French, the Holy Grail can be translated into Sangreal, San meaning holy and Grail meaning grail. The hypothesis put forth by the Holy Blood and the Holy Grail is that the word Sangreal can also be broken down into two different words, sang meaning blood and real meaning royal, or royal blood. The authors connected this new translation to historical evidence of a supposed bloodline descended from Jesus and Mary Magdalene that passed through to the Merovingian dynasty of France. But what if this newly uncovered translation is only a piece to a larger and much more ancient puzzle? In my movie Code 12, I interview Stanford geneticist Dr. Jerry Rivera Dahinio. He wrote a paper titled 12-Strand DNA Morphogenetic Engineering. Dr. Jerry discusses how human DNA really has 12 strands, though only 3 strands are currently coded for protein. He believes that if we can unlock the full 12 strands of our DNA, we will possess the knowledge of the universe and connect with what he calls the base 12 source code, or eternal life code of the universe. We would essentially become gods. Is it possible that the Sangreal or royal blood is actually in reference to our DNA and not a bloodline? That King Arthur, his 12 knights, and their quest for the Holy Grail are just metaphors for this 12-strand DNA, which if unlocked could give us access to eternal life. Only one knight was said to have ever obtained the Holy Grail, Sir Galahad, the purest of all the knights, who upon obtaining it ascended immediately to heaven. Was his immediate ascension to heaven actually a symbolic reference for the transition from our simulated reality to a much higher frequency? It is interesting to note that the 12 Knights of the Round Table didn't stay together for long. As legend explains, at the end of the Arthurian prose cycles, including the seminal La Mort d'Arthur, the Round Table splits up into groups of warring factions. Following the revelation of Lancelot's adultery with King Arthur's wife, Queen Guinevere. Could this part of the story suggest a break in the DNA? A fall from grace? A frequency that we are no longer part of? Had I stumbled upon a code embedded in the Arthurian legend of the Holy Grail that could link to the 12 strands of DNA of Dr. Jerry's research? Is the story of Galahad finding the Grail and ascending to heaven meant to be a metaphor for someone unlocking their 12-strand DNA and gaining the knowledge of the universe inside themselves? A knowledge that allows one to leave this realm of reality and go into another. If this is true, then according to the book The Holy Blood and the Holy Grail, there might be a group of people who know about this code and are willing to do anything to keep the secret from getting out. What this research suggests is that if we are able to access more of our DNA, then we too could tap into some greater realm beyond space and time. This is just another example of stories that talk about the human struggle to go beyond the system we are in. I believe that if we can unravel the code of the universe left to us by our ancient past, we might better understand our current situation, and more importantly, find a way to break out of our self-made prisons and become the ascended masters of our own universe. Until then, may the truth be within you.
Watch the movie Code 12 to learn the science behind the code on Amazon Prime right now. Subscribe here to get more updates and free content. That is, if the simulation doesn't get in your way.
Hey, thanks for watching this special presentation of Code 12 Investigates. Think you found another Code 12 connection? Then I'd like to hear it. Go to hatherstudios.com and tell me what else you think I should investigate. While you're there, don't forget to sign up for our mailing list to keep up to date on all the recent discoveries. Together, we might just be able to unravel this Code 12 mystery.